Punching Jason, a rain-slick rooftop above the sleepless city becomes a brutal prize ring where courage collides with inevitability, and Julius convinces himself that grit and gloves might conquer the walking embodiment of doom. He squares up with real boxing skill, launching sharp jabs and heavy hooks, peppering Jason with clean combinations. Each impact echoes across the skyline, fist pounding against a hockey mask that refuses to crack. For a fleeting moment, bravery feels like momentum, and the city's glow seems ready to celebrate an impossible upset. But exhaustion arrives like a tide. His arms sag, lungs heave, and every step drags as Jason stands unshaken, an avalanche waiting. Julius throws anyway, driven by habit, by pride, by sheer refusal to stop. Until his guard slips just an inch, silence closes in, and Jason finally answers with one effortless punch. A head flies, a body drops, and the city below keeps breathing. Indifferent. The pipe peak. A lonely highway shimmers under an afternoon sun as Derry and Trish pass a rusted church, and a hulking figure feeds something unspeakable into a stained pipe that vanishes into the earth. Every instinct screams to keep driving, to call for help, to never look back, but curiosity and the terrible need to know claw at the edges of reason. The truck returns, a metal monster roaring its horn and ramming their car into the shoulder, and the message seems carved into the asphalt: leave this road and live. But then the stillness returns and the compulsion blooms, because the mind wants answers even when the body wants safety, and Derry decides that knowledge is worth the risk of a grave. He leans into darkness, ankles held by his terrified sister, peering down a throat of brick and shadow where no daylight belongs. This is the exact moment when curiosity becomes a death sentence. Until fingers slip on old stone and gravity pulls him into the mouth of the earth, his fall ending in a cathedral of stitched horrors. The underground scene is unforgettable because it makes the audience complicit, forcing us to admit we might have looked too, and that the price of knowing is sometimes paid in screams. Derry emerges with the truth burned into his mind, but truth has a way of tagging its discoverer, and the creeper does not forget the one who stared back. The open road becomes a hunting ground from that moment forward, and the next night will not be kind to anyone who still believes curiosity is harmless. Unmasking the shape. A rooftop at a sanitarium glows under harsh lights as Lorie Strode, scarred by decades of trauma, dangles Michael Myers over the edge with a cable biting into his legs. She has fought her way through fire, grief, and obsession to reach this moment, and it could all end here with one release, one cut, one final push into silence. The story could close with the dawn. For a breath, it feels possible, but memory presses down like a weight heavier than the knife she grips. The mask stares back, blank and eternal, and doubt creeps in like smoke through broken glass. She remembers the trick at the end of H20, the paramedic in disguise, the wrong man killed, the guilt that followed. She cannot repeat it. She inches closer, alarms howling, wind whipping, eyes searching for human truth in the void of evil. She's seconds away from victory, but doubt is about to steal it from her. Until Michael moves, a blade flashes, a survivor falls. The aftermath is brutal, not just in blood, but in meaning. The franchise's anchor, the survivor who outlasted every chase, every scream, becomes another cautionary tale. Masks are riddles, and Lorie's need to solve one becomes her undoing. Haddonfield loses its fiercest defender, and the cycle spins again, because mercy and hesitation are luxuries no slasher villain ever grants. Open house on Purge night. A fortress of steel shutters and cameras locks tight over a suburban home as the sirens declare the arrival of sanctioned chaos, and the Sandin family settles into silence, trusting technology to outlast the night. The rulebook is simple enough to etch in stone. Stay inside, stay unseen, and never invite the storm into your sanctuary. Monitors glow with distorted images of other people's nightmares, and for a time the only sound is a ticking clock, promising survival by morning. But then a bleeding stranger stumbles into view, begging for shelter. Compassion cuts through caution, and Charlie, too young to measure risk, opens the system. The house breathes once, shutters parting, and the hunted man crosses the threshold, along with the scent of blood, until masked purgers gather outside, patient and grinning, with machetes and a deadline carved into their smiles. From that moment, generosity is no longer mercy, it is invitation. Take it, Georgie. A gray dairy afternoon folds into fairy tale drizzle as Georgie chases the Georgie along flooded curbs, his yellow slicker glowing like a lantern against a storm that does not forgive. The little boat bobs, dips, and races ahead until it vanishes into a storm drain and a sigh escapes him, small and heavy, the kind only a child can make when the world steals something that mattered. Then two pale eyes bloom in the darkness and a voice rises from below, soft and cheerful, promising safety like a carnival tune drifting through a nightmare. The clown leans into the ritual of trust, talking of popcorn and circuses, candy and laughter, all the colors a child longs to hold. Fear trembles, but curiosity wins, and politeness stretches thin until it breaks into something monstrous. The smile widens, the shadows sharpen, and Georgie reaches. The moment when innocence becomes a weapon against him. Not because reason agrees, but because love for his brother outweighs caution. The bite is unseen, yet it echoes like thunder. His scream is devoured by the storm. The street forgets by morning, but every gutter stays haunted. Every balloon in memory rises, red and untethered, whispering that curiosity is always hungry, and every dark opening waits for another hand. Release the chimps. A laboratory hums with alarms as activists storm the cages, hearts pounding with righteous intent. They believe they are liberators, breaking locks to free symbols of innocence. But the scientists' desperate warning echoes. The chimps are infected. The sickness spreads through blood. Outrage drowns out reason. Chains snap, doors swing open, and what looks small and caged becomes teeth, claws, and fury. One leap, one scream, and the infection spills into the world. The aftermath is silence drowned in fire, streets abandoned, cities ruined. Britain falls not to monsters, but to compassion without caution. Reading the flesh book. The cabin already breeds unease, the kind that seeps into bones before a single scream is heard. On the table rests the book, wrapped in barbed wire, bound in human skin. Its very existence is a warning. The air tightens, the walls seem to whisper, and every shadow says the same thing. Leave it shut. Do not touch. Do not tempt what should stay buried. But curiosity is louder than instinct. One of them pulls the barbed wire free and forces the cover open. The pages are filled with jagged scrawl carved into flesh, words never meant for human tongues. He reads aloud, each syllable twisting the air, tearing through silence like knives. The cabin listens. The forest shudders. The earth itself stirs, until the final word lingers and the book responds. The aftermath is possession, torment, and slaughter, all from a choice that mistook warning for invitation. Petting Space Cobra, a desolate alien chamber holds a creature no human eye was meant to see. A serpent rising like a cobra, hood flared, hiss sharp with warning. Every instinct screams retreat. Every scrap of training should mean keep back, but curiosity mutates into recklessness. One of the explorers leans in, cooing at it as if danger could be tamed. This is where wonder turns into a death sentence. The strike is instant, coils crushing, speed merciless. The aftermath is not just death, but proof that brilliance means nothing when arrogance silences instinct. Square footage. An abandoned Detroit house hides shadows thick as rot, and AJ explores it not for safety, but for profit. A stained mattress, a rusted camera, a bucket, every detail screams to flee. Any survivor would run. But AJ pulls out a measuring tape, muttering about square footage, blind to the stench of dread pooling beneath his feet. The tunnel yawns open, darker than dark, reeking of secrets. He keeps walking, step by step, deeper into a labyrinth carved for pain. The aftermath is inevitable. Greed smothers fear, and the walls wait, laughing, as the monster sharpens its patience. So tell me, out of these catastrophic missteps, which one made you want to reach into the screen and shake the characters until they listen to reason? Because in horror, survival is never guaranteed, but stupidity always guarantees horror.